is the real monster. That's what she wants to make clear. It's not about shifting blame. She took responsibility today. I mean, that's what she did, but she looks forward to going after the real monster.
Cynthia made and followed our recommendation, and it was her decision as well to decide to take this plea.
So at the end of the day, she does admit she had some part to play in this.
Absolutely. And she's accepted her responsibility in this.
Those are the words that are used by Cynthia Perkins's attorney. So what happened today? Well, right before trial, we were expected to start jury selection around 1 o'clock. That is after 2 motions would have been heard. But before we could get to all of that, a 10-minute recess turned into nearly an hour-and-a-half break. And that all ended with Cynthia Perkins accepting a plea deal. The state does want to say that they are not the ones who initiated this plea deal. So at the end of the day, Cynthia Perkins will be walking away with 41 years. And I have all of this on unfilteredwithkieran.com as far as the breakdown. But she was initially charged with 72 counts. So today she pleaded guilty to 3 different counts. One of those is second-degree rape. For that, she will be getting 40 years without the benefit of parole. Running concurrently to that would be the charge for possession of pornography with a child under the age of 13. 30 years for that one. Again, those two would be running concurrently. If you don't know what that means that they are running at the exact same time. So 40 years. Now for the mingling of harmful substance, that one is 1 year. That actually does have the benefit of parole. So a total of 41 years. However, sentencing will still determine the exact time frame. So again, motions were supposed to be heard today for a change of venue, that they would not be able to seat a fair and impartial jury in Livingston Parish, and then also that some new evidence had come to light. These were motions that were filed last week. They were supposed to be heard today. But again, before we could get to that, both sides, the Attorney General's office, who is the lead prosecuting agency on this case, as well as Cynthia Perkins' attorney, came to a plea deal. Now, one of the most important things is that the state says that Cynthia Perkins will have to testify in the case against her now ex-husband, Dennis Perkins. And that is if she is needed, of course. But speaking to the attorneys outside on both sides, they say that probably will seal the deal for Dennis Perkins' case.
Her willingness to testify against Dennis Perkins was a big consideration for us being willing to do this deal.
Was it a question in y'all's mind up until that deal was struck that she would testify, or was there some uncertainty there?
Certainly, yeah. We wouldn't have anticipated that she'd be willing to testify at all unless she were offered some consideration for that. Well, today Cynthia Perkins pled guilty to 3 very serious felony charges. So that enabled the family of the juvenile victim to get justice without having to go through the torment of a 2-week-long trial.
She was originally facing 72 charges, correct?
She was.
So why these 3?
These 3 we felt were representative of what she had done, and by agreeing to the facts as we put them out on the record, she prepared herself to testify against Dennis Perkins.
The victims and the victims' families gave you the blessing for this plea. What does those discussions look like?
Primarily, the focus was not having to place everything out in the open in the trial, the benefit of no appeal, and the benefit of knowing that 40 years is life for a regular person, but it's a really long time in prison. And they feel that this serves justice and better protects their children.
How much of this, of sparing the victims in this case, how much did that play into just go ahead and getting a plea here?
I think everything was taken into consideration. Just as he said, there was a lot of discussion with our legal team, Cynthia's family. Everything was taken into consideration.
Yeah, we really weighed all the factors that were involved in this, and that was certainly one of them, was the families that were involved in this, and the public coming in and listening to all of this evidence. That was part of it, but a major part of it too was making sure that she would still have an opportunity to tell her side of the story and what happened, and be a part of bringing Denny to justice.
Can you give us what is her side of the story?
Well,
Review.
she looks forward to telling that, but it's very much that she played a role in this, and she acknowledged that today. But she was very much taken under the control of Denny Perkins, and he manipulated her and twisted her into doing a lot of things that she was not comfortable doing, and that's really what she wants to talk about.
Does Cynthia have anything to say to the victims' families?
She just has a lot of remorse for the people that are involved in this case.
Now, if you remember, Melanie Curtin chose to go to trial, and a jury found her guilty of first-degree rape. That does carry a mandatory life in prison sentence. Her sentencing is actually scheduled for February the 17th. I should say it was scheduled for February the 17th of this week. However, some motions that were filed last week, they are wanting a new trial, so you have to get through all the motions before you can sentence. So now a motions hearing will be on March the 10th. Again, Melanie Curtin is wanting a new trial, so that motion has to be heard on March the 10th, and then, depending on what happens with that motion, the sentencing would happen. Again, first-degree rapes carries a mandatory life in prison, so technically it's more of a formality with the sentencing, but you do have to get through all the motions and acquittals and whatnot before you can sentence her. So Melanie Curtin sentenced to pretty much life in prison as of now, and you have Cynthia Perkins, who is walking away with 41 years after accepting a plea deal against her husband, Dennis Perkins, that she will testify against him in court. His trial is set to begin May the 7th of 2022. With Unfiltered with Karen, I'm Karen Chawla. If you like my work, continue to subscribe to YouTube's Unfiltered with Karen, and thanks for watching.